I think of existential kink is like, so a courtly love metaphor. If we imagine that the conscious mind, the ego, is a knight and he's out on a quest and he has certain goals. And then the unconscious, the generative, creative, orgasmic part of us, the body, the body, most of it runs unconsciously all the time, right? Our breath and our blood, is the lady. And the lady is, doing exactly what she's doing, creating exactly what she's creating. She's bringing forth whatever seeds have been planted in her through past lives, through karma, through childhood experiences, maybe childhood trauma. But she's just doing what she's doing. She's just giving birth endlessly. And the knight needs her power in order to succeed in his quest. What the knight has to do is get down on his knees and humble himself and praise her. He doesn't go up to the lady and say, hey, you know what? I gotta make some money, so get on board with that, right? Instead, he gets down on his knees and he's like, oh my, you're so beautiful, you're so perfect, exactly as you are. Just let me celebrate you and enjoy what you're already creating because it's so beautiful. And that is the attitude that has the lady be like, okay, all right, well, we could work together. I could support you on your quest. The alchemical marriage is what I realized. But the union of the conscious and the unconscious mind is the alchemical marriage. That's what all of occultism is about. You can start doing the alchemical marriage in this very simple way by just getting, letting the conscious mind, letting the ego be very, very humble and saying, okay, there's something about this experience that we're creating, and it's not the cruel world just doing it to us. It's wrong, it's bad, it's terrible, but those judgments don't make it go away. That's like something I love to point out to people. It's like we have this weird idea that if we judge something or shame something enough, then it will stop. And that absolutely is not how it works. If anything, if we want to influence anything, we have to be in a love relationship with it. Yeah, love is the essence of magic. It's the essence of alchemy. So loving the parts of myself that want and create things that my conscious mind doesn't like, that's that humbling, that's that just true love that allows for true union. So then the way that I see it, so I was asking myself, well, how did this happen so quickly? I went from this struggling, this limping along to this flourishing. And it was a story that I had never heard anybody tell me a story of. Maybe an internet marketer, I don't know. But certainly never anybody in my own life hadn't gone through that transition. And it really seemed to me, it still seems to me, that what happened was because my unconscious mind humbled itself in that way, like the knight to the lady, my unconscious got fertilized with the desires of the knight to have a beautiful, flourishing life, to have plenty of money, to be surrounded by beautiful things, got impregnated with those desires and started to gestate and bring that forth. So in other words, instead of just being impregnated by my painful childhood experiences or my painful past life experiences, it's now impregnated by my conscious desires. I find so amazing, I've read the collected works of Jung, I've read the collected works of Freud. Those guys, the fathers of psychotherapy, absolutely knew that this was how it worked. And when they would try to tell their patients about it, their patients would freak out so much. They'd be like, no, I don't want this. What are you talking about? So the therapist could be like, look, your own dreams are telling you that this is true. It's not just me that's telling you this. To get people to accept this thing, which is very difficult for the ego to accept. And still to this day, I have people leaving reviews for my books that are like, they're super upset by my book. And some people just really don't like me because they really hate this idea that some part of them, even an unconscious part of them, might have a pleasure in a painful circumstance in their lives. And I understand that because it is very hard to understand from a conventional point of view. And it is a viewpoint that ultimately involves shifting to identifying, instead of with the ego part of us, with the whole of our psyche. And when we're identifying with the whole of our psyche, what that ultimately is we're identifying with the fractal hologram of the whole of God that we actually